Hi again, Daddy. This is the second part of your cool down stretching. It's going to be a little bit of yoga or yoga moves, so hopefully you're maybe familiar with one of these. But you're going to start in down dog. So I'm just going to walk you through kind of the long version, and you can simplify this as you get more comfortable with the moves. But starting out in what we call tabletop with a nice flat back, your wrists are right under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. My toes are facing straight back and they're down against the floor like this. So I think I'll just do this from the side actually. So you're going to curl your toes under and you're going to lift your hips up and push back into downward facing dog. So things I want you to think about here, we'll start with the hands and work our way back. My hands are rooted into the floor. I have pressing into the floor with my thumb, my index, and my middle finger. The pressure isn't on my wrist, it's in my hands, rooted down. My weight's about 60-40 in my hips to my hands. And my armpits are facing towards the wall behind me, kind of trying to wrap around my body. And I'm pushing my chest and my head back through my shoulders. You don't need to be too extreme about that for our purposes. But my butt, my hip bones are lifted towards the sky. My back is flat. I'm making an upside down V. You don't want to be too close in here. The idea isn't to have your heels on the ground, nor do you want to be too far out like that. You want to be a nice, comfortable V. And if you push back from tabletop, that should be right about the right position. Your feet are about hip width apart, and you shouldn't be able to see your heels behind your toes. So they shouldn't be in like this, nor out like that. They should be invisible. Your knees are slightly bent, your hips are reaching towards the sky. Your heels are reaching towards the floor, but they're most likely not going to be touching the floor. So once you find your nice position here, there's probably a little bit of strain on your arms, because I know there is on mine. But that's totally okay. You're strengthening a little bit here. You can do things like walk your feet out, give yourself a nice calf and Achilles stretch here. You can sway your hips from side to side. Sometimes that feels good. Just find what feels good here and find a nice down dog. So I'm going to get back on my mat here to show you pigeon. But in down dog, lift your right leg up. So now you're in three-legged dog. And then bring your knee through to your armpit, to your wrist. Your heel's going to be about in the position of your groin, and you're going to set your leg down on the floor. So I brought my right knee to my right wrist. My heel is right about in my groin. Once we get more advanced in this move, we'll start moving our leg up so our knee faces 90, but for now we're probably going to be starting here. I want you can flex the toes on this foot back towards your shin. That'll help protect your knee so it doesn't get tweaky. And then you want you to look behind you and make sure your toes on your back foot are back towards the wall. You don't want to be turned in or in any funny position. So once we're here, you can really lengthen your spine out in front of you. Make sure it's nice and long. And start working your way down closer towards the ground. So I like starting by, coming down to my forearms. As you get more comfortable, you'll be able to rest your belly and your body on top of your leg here. But most likely, we're not going down that far yet. So, however, wherever you are is fine. I mean, if you're up here, you're going to really feel something in the outside of your right hip if you're using your right leg forward. But the stretch is going to be all along here. This is a wonderful hip opener. So, really feeling the stretch, really breathing into it. Nice deep breaths here, nice long exhales. If you make your exhale longer than your inhale, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your relaxation side and is a really good thing to get into in this cooling down phase and the stretching phase. So really breathing here, really focusing on whatever you feel in your thigh and trying to breathe it out. Imagine that your thigh was a big lung, and breathe into this lung and then out of the lung. Letting all of the tension and stress you feel, let it go. Once you breathe here for a few, you'll probably start being able to sink deeper and deeper into it. And this is pigeon. So, in order to get out of this, walk your hands back up Curl the toes of your other foot under, lift your hips up, and then bring your leg back. I like bringing mine back and then walking my dog out a little bit here. And when I'm ready for my other side, lift my foot up, heel to the ceiling, and bring it through my left knee to my left wrist, my right heel into my right groin. Looking back behind me, making sure my toes are straight, lengthening my spine out to the front, and then I can slowly work my way down as far as I can go, flexing the toes of that foot that's underneath me back towards my shin to help protect my knee, and working down just as far as I can here. Like I said, it's probably going to take some time to get that far, so wherever you are is just fine, but really feeling the opening, that tension or the stretch in your left thigh, really breathing into that. You can also play around with your position here. You can scoot yourself so you're resting more on the outer part of your thigh. I really want you to be centered here, but sometimes it's good just to move around in this position and feel the limits of each part of this movement. And then settle into it, breathing. Pretending there's a big lung right here. Breathing into it, breathing out of it. Letting all your tension drain away. Longer exhales than your inhales. We're cooling down here. Since you're doing this, your cool down stretching, you must have just done a really awesome workout, so be proud of yourself. Thank your body for what it just did to you, for you. Breathe. It'd be great if you could stay in this stretch for a minute or even longer. This is a great one. When you're ready to come out of it, walk your hands up, curl your toes under, push your hips back up to the sky, walk it out, and you're done. So, good job.